Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Psychosis Podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv. Guys, welcome to the show. If you're watching us from YouTube, do comment, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching us from realtruthseekers.com, rts.video, a big hello to everyone there. We have a huge community there. And yes, realtruthseekers.com is one of our main sponsors for Heliopsychosis Podcast. And yes, finally, we are back from big break. We had a almost 1.5 month break, and I think we all needed that to just get in more, absorb more, because we definitely discussed lots of amazing cosmologies in the last few weeks, and was amazing stuff. So, and also for the festival time and the New Year's, so we all decided to take it and start the year with more energy. So that's great. So my co-host is the first one. Hey, Jeannie, how are you, brother?
Hey, Vika. Yeah, welcome back. You too, bro. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I hope everybody had a nice break and had some nice time off and relaxed. Got your thoughts and stuff together. It was fun. It went by so fast and so much time in between. Also, I love time. It's such a funny thing. 6 weeks goes by in a flash, and no, it was good. It's going to be a great topic. It's a hard one to uncover too. They send you in a loop with Zoroastrianism, but it should be interesting. We might bring up some cool topics and subjects on it. Like science, industry, music, entertainment. A lot of people involved, but you don't hear a lot about Zoroastrianism. So yeah, good topic to start the year off with, brother. I missed all you guys, and thanks for being here. And have fun. Here we go.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother. And our next panelist is Evelyn. Called yeah. How are you, Evelyn?
Hi, how's everyone doing? Um, yeah, um, I've been searching for information about Zoroastrianism, and it's very hard to find. It's very hard to find. So, very little, um, info on it. Managed to find the Encyclopedia Iranica. So, yeah, it's I see again similarities with other cosmologies. So yeah, can we can have a look later.
Oh yeah, it's a quite a complicated one in a way, because there is information about the creation story, but there is very few information about the real shape of the earth. But there is few, but it's quite important, and I think it's enough of information to at least say, what is the real shape of the earth. So before we jump in to the podcast, I just wanted to mention that yeah, the World Flat Earth Association group is we already passed 50 plus thousand members there. We almost 54,000 people, and even Jean and Evelyn are moderators there, new moderators. So they're also having fun there. It's yeah, definitely right now it's one of the biggest private flat earth group out there. If you exclude the fake ones, like Flat Earth Society. So awesome! Make sure you guys are there too. On Facebook, World Flat Earth Association. And the other thing I wanted to mention was about that I had one video about a rocket. That's 1 minute 15-second video. It's one of my more shortest video that I put out, and at the starting of the year, it just as a surprise just saw it, and it was 1 million plus views, and was going 100,000 views per day, and finally it settled for almost 2 million views on Facebook, with the word flat Earth. So that's amazing. For me, it was like really a good way to start the 2023. With 2 million views for a 1 minute video, more than 3 million people reached. The word is getting out there. The word is gone out there. Out of even if 10% wake up from that 2 million, that's loads of people. That's hell loads of people. So I'm quite happy about that. So awesome. And Zoroastrian cosmology, yeah, it is supposed to be starting in Persia, Iran. We all know that Persia was one of a really strong empire during those times. It was culture-wise, language-wise, technology-wise, architecture-wise, astronomy-wise, was quite ahead of its time. And as far as the idea I've got about that, it started between Persia, Indo-Iranian. It's a mix between India and Iran. So it has parts of, we could say, like Vedic world and we could call Babylonian or Mesopotamian world. It's kind of looks like a combination, or so it's quite interesting too, in a way, because their gods literally looks like the Sumerian gods too, in a way. Some of them, at least this Azaru Mazda, the main god. So have you guys heard about Azaru Mazda?
Yeah, he was the Lord of Wisdom, right? I think they called him.
Yeah, and also, yeah, he was the positive one. They have the
Asha.
Yeah, they have the dark and the light.
Right, the Asha and the Drudge. The Asha was the god of truth and light, and the Drudge was more or less the god of lies and bad, sort of. So it was a duality, right? That they kind of spoke about and tried to teach from.
Exactly. You guys have heard about a game called Final Fantasy? Yeah. So Final Fantasy 14 is a video game. I'm not into video games, but it's the whole game is based upon the Zoroastrian cosmology, the war between the good and the bad.
What's it called?
Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
And then there are warriors of light who needs to fight to the darkness. And then there are also beings like human beings who are used as a body, as a vehicle to fight these wars. I have no idea about the Final Fantasy, but the whole game is set up upon that. Even the names of the gods, are very similar, and yeah, it's like it sounds like Final Fantasy, looks like fantasy, but it's really based on this cosmology.
That's interesting. That's so crazy. They're putting it right in the kids' faces in places we would never even think of looking.
Exactly, and their appearance, their world, their weapons, their surroundings, everything is based on that.
How about their abilities? Like
definitely to fight the evil, to fight the darkness.
Wow. There's a lot of people right now there's a lot of memes going out about what's that game with it where they're just squares, everything is a square.
Minecraft?
Yes, that's the one. Minecraft knew the Earth was flat.
Oh yeah, there are many games. They literally show that. I have few memes, but I don't now remember exactly. There are few other games which shows the flat Earth.
It's pretty cool. Well, it's cool because once you start to know how to spot things, you spot more of them because they're all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's exactly the same. Like once you buy a specific type of car, and that car you see everywhere after that. So it's
It's true. Everybody has this car.
so everybody has the same car. What the hell?
Yep.
Same effect.
Funny.
Yeah,
Speaking of cars, the Mazda Corporation geared the name off of the Mazda. They wanted the light to shine on their vehicles, so that's why they named it Mazda. After
exactly. Duruk
right?
Mazda, no? Yeah.
Right. And you know what else? It comes from the three thoughts: the good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Right. That's triad of like a philosophy to do good thoughts, words, and deeds. And in 1931, the Mazda Corporation got really popular because it invented the first what they call the Go Auto rickshaw, and the rickshaw was a two-wheeled carriage drawn by a human, and the Go Auto was the first three-wheeled truck by that company. I don't know if it was the original three-wheel truck, but it was their first. So I thought that was interesting how that three posed itself in front of me like that.
Oh yeah, the trident, the trilogy, the trees. Yeah, the trees.
Right.
It represents it in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah, as well as the duality. It's very interesting.
Exactly, because the tree goes with the father, mother, and children. So the trilogy of even you have in the Vedics the Brahma, Krishna, and Vishnu, and
right.
Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu is the trilogy of Vedics.
And I think Vedic is one of the only older religions than this. Is that true? Is that right? It's
even I think the Zoroastrians also is very, very old, more or less similar, or maybe the Vedic is a much more older than, but very near. The Zoroastrian is one of the more near. It's also said that the Christianity and Judaism,
right,
a lot of stuff also comes from the Zoroastrians,
right, and the Muslim too. The monotheistic, is that
monotheism, monoatheism.
Yeah, where a lot of the other ones were polytheistic, where they thought many gods instead of just one creator, and it kind of spread out.
Right, and as you mentioned, bro, the good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. It's pretty amazing, that one too, brother. It's like it's all in our thoughts. Everything happening today is because of our thoughts, and that is what is manifesting. So if we are having negative thoughts and low vibrational thoughts and ideas about the world and the surroundings, that's what is going to manifest. So it's in that three simple words, it's literally giving you the way, the right way. Yeah.
All the directions summed up nice and neat. And I believe that too, because why did they heist all the airwaves on us and feed us this garbage that we watch all the time now? I say we, maybe not you, maybe not me, but it was, popular. The culture is just absolute garbage.
Exactly. So the Zoroastrian texts interpret creation as a as a cosmic drama spanning over a period of 12,000 years, which are kind of subdivided into 4 equal periods of 3,000 years each. The first period is known as an infinite time. And during this period, the good and the evil remained in perfect balance in their respective planes. For 3,000 years, Ahura Mazda dwelt in the region of light, while his opponent, Ahirman or Angra Manyu, it's supposed to be the negative, the dark side, Angra. It's very similar to the word angry,
That's what I thought too. As soon as I heard Angra, I was like, "Oh, that means mad."
The evil spirit, yeah.
Right. The Lucifer of this subject.
Right. It's always there. The chess is going on,
Yeah, and there's always a battle or something going on while creating the world. Something that I've noticed in
We
many
all, yeah, exactly. It's always
in many of the different cosmologies. There's always a battle between the good and the evil, and something is created out of something. And here we find also that the two beings were battling
exactly.
for battle or something like that.
Maybe because the cosmos or our realm is vibrational. Everything is moving. Nothing is at constant or stop or at peace. Everything is like, yeah, just bliss. Maybe the world or the planes we know or we could, other maybe in few dimensions, maybe, but I think it's the way the nature works also, as I was mentioning in other stuff, like, that it needs that vibration of movement, of something is going on. So there's always that there's something needs to happen and something needs to have a solution, or we need to come to some, so there's never, even as we human, even as characters, it's never enough. Where it's always, there is something to life, is always something to learn, to do, it's not like, yeah, that's the end. This is eternal peace and it is that eternal way, or the point you are, or anyone with any situation, that's it. No, it's always something have to be going on, because the universe is like this, it needs to vibrate. Things need to change, the frequencies and the vibration needs to change according to cycles, according to time, according to years. Maybe that's what, maybe this cycle these people are speaking about.
But think about that though, bro. It sounds that you're talking about like eternal life right there to me. How, like I've explained it before, my way of explaining it is like life. You go through school and you grow up, right? So in your first years, your early years, your crayons are more important things, and then you grow up, your crayons are not so important because your vibration changed, sort of. And that just goes through things with life. Not every single thing, but plenty of it. Things are just not as important anymore. It changes, it shifts.
Exactly, and the cosmic dance needs to continue.
It does, and I guess without the duality, there's no more dance, right? Or less dance, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does remind me that, so this life could be, a day in kindergarten for your soul, and we have so many lives to keep going through, and we'll always be learning. And there's things we could, how that pie chart goes. There's a sliver of what we know, like a 5% sliver of we know we don't know, and then the rest of the pie is things we don't even know we don't know. And that doesn't go for just this world either. That goes for other worlds, I think.
So it's curious that you say that, because also in this Final Fantasy game, and also according to this cosmology, like these beings who are used as vessels, very similar to us as matter, they when the time is over, whatever, for whatever reason, or their time is over, or like in the game, the game is over, and the next life, it starts from where you finished. So it's curious.
Interesting. I'm gonna ask my son if he knows about that game or if he plays it. He's into this stuff. I talked to him about. He's like, Dad, look at it. It's cool.
So Ahura Mazda and Angra Mainyu. So they both, one was representing the light and the other was representing the darkness. So two different realms, and in between was the void. And the Angra Mainyu got into the void and start fighting with Ahura Mazda. So during his interlude, Ahura Mazda brought forth the entire creation. He created the 6 Amesha Spentas, or other divine beings or immortal beings, several angel spirits, and Asuras, or spirit lords. Asuras is very similar to Asura in Vedas. So he brought forth the primeval ox and the primeval man, Gaiomart. And from the primeval man, he created the material things such as water, air, earth, and the metals.
Yeah, and these two spirits, they made a sort of a treaty to have this war for a limited period of time.
Yeah, and or that cycle.
So maybe that's why we're in the year we're in. Because it could be 1,000 years off. The timeline is strange. Can't put my finger on it all the time, where and when, but there's often a timeline discrepancy in things we talk about.
Oh yeah, it's a 3,000-year cycle they speak about, so different things. So this one they were speaking about, I think, the first cycle, where the creation, they're almost like with the creation story and how the war began. So sounds like the first cycle.
Yeah, and I think they weren't really even too sure about Zoroaster's real time and exactly when he lived, right? Is there a couple of 100 years involved, and when? They're not too sure.
Could be, yep. So to the pre-existing souls, known as Fravashis, he offered a choice, either to remain as a spirit being or take birth upon the earth as a human being to assist him in his battle against the evil. Literally how it's in Final Fantasy. Pre-existing, yeah, go ahead.
It's a choice to come down here, they were saying, to help in a physical
That's what
battle?
it's saying according to their creation story. Yeah.
Nice, that's cool. A lot of people say that we do choose to come down here with very specific tasks and things we're supposed to do. Some of us know more instinctively.
Exactly, or could be that these beings, these light beings or these light warriors, are reincarnating in material body like humans like us to fight this low vibration, low or materialistic uh, negative entities which live close to the surface or below, as many other cultures, or the fallen angels, or the demons, or the whatever you want to call it, or entities, or beings, or no.
Right. That's
And it's a
great.
way of continuing the war, and it's literally like Avatar in a way.
I still haven't seen that movie. It's starting to bother me now. I have to say that.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome movie. Yeah, these people really don't have. What do you think? James Cameron had this idea from his. It's all like a rip off. It's a real rip off of this kind of cosmology, ancient cosmology. And Avatar is literally a copy of our, right, starting from the name of Avatar, which is Vedic,
Right.
to the whole story and extra lands and all the civilizations and everything, So it's about giants. It's about giants beings. That's why we literally connect to that movie. Majority connects with that movie because it's some way coded in our genes, in our DNA.
Yeah, right. Like we just subconsciously identify with it.
Yeah, because it's story of our us humans and the giants.
That movie, Jack the Giant Slave, I've spoken that a few times. I thought that movie was captivating to me. And I was already not a Hollywood fan at the time. But I was just like, wow, look at this. And I bought it and I lent it to someone, never got it back. But that movie was good. And I don't know, I'm not real into the new animation and stuff like that. I like old 1930s and 40s horror movies and stuff like that. There's some really good ones. There's Boris Karloff talk about the medical industry in 1939. And it's just their way to kind of soften everybody up to the idea of these crazy things they're doing is really all it is. Because without TV, I don't think the medical industry would have got away with what they did. Or
Exactly.
Right? Or sci-fi. They never would have got the mass people to believe that nonsense. Pharma and all that stuff would like people love today. They never would have been able to do it without TV and music.
Oh yeah, and the person who, for example, who created this game, the Final Fantasy, is he gonna pay royalties to the Zoroastrian people? No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or James Cameron to the Vedic people, or this is how they take. It's all not only about movies and information. It's about technology, about language, about culture, about construction, about astronomy, about weaponry, about free energy. Everything is fucking robbed from the ancients.
Yeah, and thrown in our faces.
They're making money everywhere, right and left, and using technology and everything. And they don't give credit to the real ancient people who did this. And they call it fantasy, and the people, they didn't have an idea. They think the earth was flat because they were very, what the hell, these people, they cannot, the present technology cannot exist without the ancient knowledge, without the ancient truth, what is given from all these ancient, like the majority has been ripped off, and we will never get to it. But whatever we are getting to know and everything is because something have to be there for the life to continue, right? Like as somebody was mentioning, with the teachings, the ancient teachings, why is it the ancient teachings are called New Age, right? It's because the people are not supposed to see the real wisdom that is there. It's the nature's way of cutting off the masses. It's better that many will believe, yeah, it's all demonic, it's all new age, it's all fashion, and nobody looks into it. It's the karma of everyone. They are not supposed to see it right now. Maybe in the future, maybe in the next life, right?
Right. I wonder about the new age stuff because there could be more reality to it, and they just kind of give us a little sprinkling of what really, stones and chantings and stuff like that can really do.
Oh yeah, and especially a human being it's a magical creation, right?
Sure.
Every hand signs that all these famous people use, all these astronaut people use, these all hand signs are supposed to be mudras, our energy.
Really?
Yeah, these are energy connection, because we humans are vibration. We humans are our frequency. Our thoughts is frequency and vibration. So we are electromagnetic. We channel energy, or we have points of energy all over our body, and everywhere are like circuits. Our fingers are like circuits to channel this energy from above. And the diet wokes are going to call this whatever, but we humans are light. We know we are electric in nature, same as the sun, the moon. The electric is everywhere, and we are the same.
It's true,
right? But all this wisdom, all this is demonized by the masses and the famous people, so that the people don't use this it's kind of technology. Okay, because we human have aura, we have an invisible body. We need to heal, same as we heal our physical body, we need to heal our mental and light body. And all this is energy everywhere. It comes from above and below the earth, when you do grounding, right? All this ancient knowledge is nothing to demonize. It's better that people lose this wisdom and don't use this wisdom, because there are people with bad intentions. So I think it's a way of nature of keeping people away by, this is demonizing, this is new way, this is bullshit, this is magic, or whatever. But we are humans. We are part of the organism in this earth, right? It's a way of healing and living in harmony. Try to live in harmony.
That's true, Vikka, because that's why they're disrupting all the harmonics and everything, and the airwaves, audio waves, visuals. They're ruining everything. The water got memory, so they're doing things to the water. We know that. They got the air and the food. Chickens aren't laying eggs right now all over the place. They're crazy, these people. And
exactly.
If one, I think it's if one in every either 3 or 5, one in either 3 households or 5 households, I don't remember. If every one of them had a bunch of chickens, that industry would go away tomorrow. So it wouldn't take a lot, but people think that cleaning your chicken farm is harder than going to work 40 hours a week, and it's really just, it might be harder, but the reward is so much better.
Oh yeah,
it's a different kind of hard, it's a different kind of tough.
Exactly. And the other thing was this, right? I don't know. You guys heard about Gospel of Thomas? Why is it excluded from the Bible?
I don't know.
Yeah, because it teaches the same thing. It teaches a human being to how to live in this world and how to perceive this world and how to use the law of attraction and all this, where where in the Vedic way it would be called the chakras, but it's there also in the Gospel of Thomas, because every human being is supposed to find the Christ inside you, everybody, right?
That's what I think.
But there are literally, go ahead.
That's what we talk about in the Zoroastrianism. They talk about the omnipresent, omnipotent God that is everywhere. Knows everything, and is just everywhere. It's like we've said on the show that the air we're breathing, where Tesla was trying to tap into the waves, that is God. It's not from God. It is God. And we're all swimming in these waves right now. And if we knew how to work ourselves like a radio, we wouldn't need phones and cars and taxes. That's
exactly. So the controller, brother, they don't want the people to know all this. They don't want. That's why everything is hidden.
It is, and like you just said, it's hidden right in our face with these signs they're doing.
Or demonized. Or hidden or demonized.
Yeah, and both even. They're hidden right in our faces. So they're kind of, it's aggravating. It's frustrating, these people.
Because what's the word occult means? Occult means ocular, eyes.
Mm.
So the word is there. If you have the eyes to see, you're going to see it.
When I pray for myself, I ask for clarity and discernment for myself, and happiness and health for everybody, all of everybody. Me too, but for my personal stuff, I want to be able to see things and know the difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been asking for that for the last 3 years, and it's been working good.
Can tell.
Oh yeah.
So, what did this creation look like?
The only information it says that this earth, according to this creation story, looked like okay, one moment. The Zoroastrian text depicts a universe consisting of a spiritual world inhabited by spiritual beings of light and great potency, ruled by Ahura Mazda, the highest and the supreme. In the middle is a material world populated with material things and elements such as fire, water, earth, and air, human beings, plants, animals, metals, and minerals, where a constant battle goes on between the good and the evil. This is the world in which we live. Finally, there is a lower dark world beneath our planet. So there is only up and down, right?
Makes sense.
Inhabited by fierce demons, Daevas. So Daevas are beings according to Zoroastrians, and in Sanskrit it's called Devas.
So that's why they got us the ladies trying to be divas, then, isn't it? Because it's demonic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because according to the Vedic cosmologies, devas are supposed to be entities, so demigods. And according to the Vedic cosmologies, you have the same thing, the negative and the positive aspect, right? So you have in most of, so why not in these two, right? They have the devas can be good and bad. The same thing it's with Lucifer or Satan. He's supposed to be an angel, right? But he's negative, right? That's what it's perceived, right? According to the
Right,
Yeah,
pretty much.
he can also masquerade as an angel of light. So as in a positive, a good. So
deceit.
yes, to deceive. Yeah.
Hey Keith, how are you, bro?
Hey, Vikka.
Hey,
Guys, doing well. Good to be here.
what's up, Keith?
Had some friends at my house, and they just left, so I thought I would jump on.
Very cool.
Yeah, you kick them out.
No, they had to go pick up some of their kids from birthday parties, so it was time to go. And I was looking at the clock, thinking, "Oh, the podcast started." So,
Never a dull moment.
but it was good though, because he's not a flat earther at all. But we've had talks about it in the past, so we had more talks about it now. And I told him tonight, I said, flat Earth is ultimately not really about flat Earth. It's about the fact that we're lied to about almost everything. And I mentioned religion. I said, like religion's complete bullshit for the most part. And he's, so you don't believe in God now? I said, no, not at all. I said, if you look at flat Earth and this system, it works with extreme precision. So it has to be intelligently designed. Whoever God is, they, he, she, I don't presume to know. But as we've been looking at all these ancient cosmologies, all of them had some form of God or gods that they worshipped. And I would like to know more about that, but I don't trust much of mainstream anything, whether it's political or religious at all. I mean, I'm trying to, seek and find in my own way and do what, live a peaceful life. I think peace for me is more valuable than anything. So we had a conversation somewhat related to the podcast tonight. And, if those of you who are listening tonight, I would encourage you to start engaging with other people about flat Earth. And when you don't know something, just say, hey, I don't know. I just know that the natural physics of water, it can't bend around a ball that's spinning. Just tell them what you do know, and the stuff you don't know, just say, I really don't know. And when it comes to God and religion, I don't know.
Nobody knows, brother.
It's curious that you say, because also in the Zoroastrian cosmology is supposed to be 2000 years BC. Okay, and the first few hundred years, it was only shared vocally, like it wasn't even written, right? So it's curious, and then and then it was written, and in the present, how it's in the present stage, sure, it have more modifications, right? Like any other scriptures.
Vikka, you can't, as far as I could tell, they don't allow any new members in. You can't just join and really be a true Zoroastrian. You can marry in if your father is full, they'll accept you. But if your mom is and you marry in, it doesn't count.
Oh yeah, now that you are speaking about that, they have a very strange ceremony when what they do to their deceased, right?
I know, and
it's curious. It's crazy.
It's cool. It's cool though. It returns you back. It's
holy shit.
And up until like 1980, I think Iran was still doing that. You tell them what they did though, bro. You tell them how that goes.
Oh yeah, I have seen some things like that. There are sometimes even you could have these places in the middle of the city. Like.
Oh wow.
So you would see all vultures flying around. So just for the people to know that our listeners know, what they do is, when in the Zoroastrian, Persian, this part, what they do when someone dies is they don't bury or they don't cremate the deceased. They leave it in a particular place, a special place. in the nature, and the vultures come and they eat it till it's all gone.
What do they do with the bones after that?
That's what I do with my rabbits.
I'm sorry?
That's what I do with my rabbits.
Do you?
What what you give to the
natural.
vultures?
I give them back to the world.
Right?
Back to nature.
It's probably healthy
yeah,
for
at
the
least-
environment. Everything else goes in the way of that. 90% of what dies must go similar to that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a different tradition, because if you compare with the cremation and with the burying, with this, it's totally different concept, but at least it's going back to the nature, right? Even with the burying, the insects and the worms, and they feed off it, right? So curious.
It's funny though. Think about that. Now they got us in a box that the elements don't get through those boxes for ages now, I think, right? A long time. They like sealed aluminum, copper, and it's
you
not
have them
easy.
They make them from all kinds of materials nowadays.
Yeah, but the thing is, they want to keep the elements out. They don't want your body returning or something like that. So there's a 180 degree attitude going on right here. From letting the animals do their thing naturally, and then they throw them in the ground, and then they probably put the box later, and now the box is closed off, and the ground doesn't get those bodies anymore. I wonder if there's any significance to that, because they don't do anything by accident, because they're nice people. So anything they do, raise a flag for me though, because it should.
The idea is to return to the dust that we were made from.
Right?
Indeed, that if you shut yourself in an aluminium coffin or something, you do not return to the earth.
And the whole point is about that the creatures below the earth feed off you. That's the whole point of burying.
Yes, to return to the earth.
Yeah.
Right. There's got to be some significance there too. And like we're saying, like Vikka, like you said, the vibration's got to continue. So if there's a significant, but then again, I don't really believe in the connection between the body and the spirit after the death, though. So the body's done; it's done. I think so. And there's always confusion. There's always
they have different ideas why they do that. It's because they say that the human soul, the soul, when it's deceased, the body, the soul doesn't leave until it sees its vessel is being put to rest, right? And there are different ways. So in the way for example, in the Vedic culture, they cremate, right? So their concept is that if you cremate, the soul is not gonna attach here for a longer time and just gonna leave quick, because there is nothing to attach to.
Nothing here. That makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah.
But have to be really crazy to see yourself, all the vultures eating, right? In this one day, because you won't be there. If it's buried, you won't be waiting 20 years that all the insects and worms are gonna eat you. But seeing yourself eaten in a couple of days, but with all the vultures there, it's like, holy shit!
That hurt.
So this is the thing, is in the material world, human, plants, animals, and all elements are susceptible to his attack and should therefore lead morally rightish and socially responsible lives, seeking the protection of the Creator all the time. The spiritual world is invisible and flooded with incredible light. Darkness cannot enter it.
That's great.
It is the middle plane or the material world where the battle is raged.
It's like when the light shined on the darkness didn't understand it.
Right. Because of the attack of the evil forces, the earth was pierced and an opening was created so that the fiendish forces could enter the world easily through it from the hell which was beneath the earth. The world became subject to duality and persecution, contention, and mingling of high and lows became manifest. Yeah, it's curious because as you both mentioned, like, there's always war, always there's, the duality, there's never peace, but it's about manifesting. It's about letting manifest. It's about letting the game happen. Because everybody has an equal chance, the light and the darkness. The planet and the constellations were afflicted with evil influences, resulting in the formation of comets with tails and eclipses. Days and night became unequal, except for one day in a year. As the evil forces attacked the primeval man and the primeval ox, human beings and the cattle became susceptible to fever, disease, weakness, hunger, fear, anger, malice, cruelty, and death. So it sounds very familiar, right?
Yeah, to the Norse, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like sounds like the Adam and Eve thing. They did some shit and now they become material. They become, before they were lights, they were beings, and then they became humans, right? So the same thing sounds very similar with Buddhism too, right? And many other different cultures that this part of the world, in a way, the humans didn't have that before. All these things that, as we mentioned before, fever, disease, weakness, hunger, fear, anger, malice, cruelty, death. So there's a transformation of the beings or the human beings or the souls from being much more elevated and with higher consciousness and higher, longer lives as light bodies to becoming really matter and physical bodies and suffering and ice. Ice, how we mentioned, right? This place is ice.
Heat goes to cold. It reminds me of like a fourth dimension, though, Vikka, where there's less physicality, like a dream world. And some people think that that's what's crashing right now, the third dimension where we definitely live, right? Supposedly. And there's a less dense version of it in the fourth dimension. I find that so interesting. Where there's less electrical force pushing us down. Different world. Hard to explain because we don't live there. And
Right. Definition says, even in the darkness, there is light. And without the darkness, how can the light exist without the darkness? We don't need light if there is no darkness, right? So,
Right.
because when they say in the beginning was the word, what is the word? That's the way it's written in the scripture. So the people of that followers follow that in a way. At the first, there was the word. In reality, what is the word? The word is the sound. So everything was created by sound, according to many cultures. If people really dig in, sound is really important.
Yep, that's why they say be careful what you say, how you say things. It's good to be like
exactly. What you say and what you let in and what you hear is also equally important.
It's
because
that's harder though. Sometimes, if you're in a place, you hear things, you see things. A matter of, I guess, following your instinct and keeping you out of those places, maybe.
Sounds, we know, are vibration, and we itself, so it affects us in many ways. It's the beginning of everything, the sound.
A cat's purr is healing sound. That's not a feat event of evolution. That's a feat of engineering. And I recently tried that on myself. I thought I got some success out of it too, guys. Thought it was interesting. I love cats.
Yeah, and what I meant to say to, like, sounds, if you say, oh, in the beginning there was sound, they say, oh, this guy is into some new age shit. Oh, in the beginning was the word, and the word was God. Oh, this guy is really, you know what I mean? The difference is just the same information right there. It's been said in two different ways, and the both ways are right. The both way is correct of explaining or defining something what exists. And the first sound, the known sound, is Om. Om is the heartbeat of the universe. It has more than 100 meanings. It helps you to relax. It helps you to synchronize your breath with your heartbeat. Now, if I say Om, and this guy's going to say, hey, this guy's practicing yoga, he's a demon. But if I use any other word and I try to meditate and relax, or I chant some verses or from some religious book, this guy is really connected. This guy is so connected with the spirituality, right? So it's all the same, guys. It's freaking all the same. It's just defined in different ways. And it's all for the benefits of us human beings to live in a positive way and understand, because everything is there for us to absorb, to see, to feel, to value the creation of what has been created, from being from the smallest microcosm to the macrocosm. We have the reflection of everything, the whole cosmos, the whole plane. We have everything here. All right, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. You go on, bro.
You're on a roll.
That did remind me of Ohm's law in electricity.
Exactly, Ohm's law. Exactly. It's and there are many things. There are many things that have been used, and and it's so connected with the magnetism, the sound, the magnetism, the electricity. We are.
Electricity is magnetism and vice versa. You can't have one without the other. It's a symbiotic relation.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And sound can also create electricity too.
Did you see what they do with speakers and water? You hang a hose in front of the speaker, and you crank the speaker. Certain
Exactly. The cymatics, right? The cymatics, the first figure which came out in the cymatic was a cross. So even the religion, exactly. So even all the religion, all the symbolism, all the geometric, all the sacred geometric, everything is there. It's written. It's, if you want to see, if you have the eyes, you're gonna see. It's all with sacred geometry and shapes from the most basic to the most complex can be formed out of these three simple shapes, right?
Wow. You're making me think of the old churches with the windows, the stained glass windows that are chromatic patterns.
Exactly.
Even inside in the ceiling, they have these sort of shapes that look like flowers that are all spread along the ceiling, and it acts like a resonator,
right.
So how was these symbols created? With sound. So we see the importance of sound there.
How did they know that shit to make the shape of those? Well, we call them windows, but they're really, I don't think they were originally windows. But those big, take the stained glass out, but those stained glass windows and those chromatic patterns, how did they know the pattern?
Yeah, because it's all sacred geometry. It's all patterns. It's all maths.
Pretty advanced.
Yeah, also with the all the constructions and how it works, and with all the ether, with the generators, with the building. It's all it's all symmetry. It's all geometry.
Yeah, it's perfection.
With electromagnetism from the atmosphere to the surface to the below, with the moving of the waters and the ley lines.
Right.
Yeah, it seems the further you go back, the more complicated things look, because people nowadays don't have any idea what that is.
Yeah, they want to see a Nike swish.
Exactly, and on 33-degree parallel, you see all the important sites all around the world. Right. Why? Because it's sacred geometry. If you see on a flat plane, it's the flower of life. The movement of the sun, the moon,
right?
The planets. It's all sacred geometry, from the seed of life to the flower of life to the tree of life. And many complex designs, which creates from the most basic, starting from a single line to a two-dimensional, to a triangle, to the three-dimensional, 4, 5, 6, 7, how it can go. Everything is a reflection of the more small to the more big. And we all are part of it. It's inside. We are the toroidal field. Everybody are the center of the universe, of each and every one.
And the electromagnetic current from your heart can be read, I think it's 3 feet away.
Yeah, the whole invisible body is supposed to be at least 3 feet away. That's why they did this social distancing, so that we don't really connect with the people. Because sometimes you don't even need to speak when you're next to somebody or somebody's around. You feel the energy, right? Because we have that inside us. We don't need to, even our hairs, our skin, our hairs are supposed to be the antenna from our head to all our body, even the hair on our body. Yeah. Our skin is an organism, is an organ. Right, it detects everything, the nature around us.
It does.
Everything,
Yes.
even feelings, even emotions, even energy, even vibration, even danger, even everything.
Yeah, that's why animals reflect your moods, because they do detect this change of patterns of rhythm in your heart, in your circulation. They're very sensitive.
They sure are.
Exactly, and they don't need sounds to communicate. They sense that. They sense how the person is and the feeling is, or how they communicate with human beings. It's a more of a communication of energy, than verbal communication with the animals, with the trees, with the nature, right?
It is. I told you guys I had 2 surgeries, hernia 1 year, and then 2 or 3 years later I had my lung collapse, and my cat never laid on me the way she did after those surgeries. So the cat knew something was wrong and knew exactly where to go. Found that very interesting. And I found that cat in my yard one day.
Oh yeah, that's why sound is very healing. Sound, we know how it feels when somebody say "f you," or
Right.
or give us a compliment, or whatever. We feel that. We feel till the bottom of our heart, right? It's
Yeah.
because
It's true.
it's a vibration that's been sent in.
Yeah, that's why I laugh when people say that to me. I'm like, I don't take offense. You can't get through. You're not getting through to me. Well, best I can help it. I just don't accept that stuff. Like, hurts them more than you, though, guys. Right? Someone's willing to say that to you. It's coming from them, most likely. Right? So don't let it get to you.
Oh yeah. So, in the conflict with the elements, the evil forces attacked water, air, and the earth. Water responded by producing fierce rain and flood. Sound familiar?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Air responded by causing fierce storms. The earth was shaken, resulting in formation of mountains. Conflict with plants resulted in plants becoming susceptible to dryness and disease. Similarly,
Wow.
there were changes in plants and animals. The world as new forms, shapes, and species appeared. There were also changes in the Earth's geography, in the formation of the inhospitable terrain, snow, mountain, ocean, forest, and desert. From the primeval ox emerged a number of new animals. From the primeval man emerged new races,
Wow.
as there were 10 varieties of men and 15 races from Fravak. There were 25 races, all from the seed of Gaiomard. Gaiomard is supposed to be the first human. The varieties are such as those of the earth, of the water, the breast earth, the breast-eyed, the one-legged, those also who have wings like bat, those of forest with tails, who have hair on the body. Wow, what does it sound like? Yeah, crazy.
This is the second or third show. If we could, we talk about Earth, Wind, Fire, Water. It reminds me of that band, Earth, Wind, and Fire. They did a song called Fantasy, and they had pyramids on their album. That's how Hollywood
Oh, yeah.
talks to us. That's a cool song too if you're into that kind of music. Fantasy was a good one. But Earth, Wind and Fire, band from the 70s, bunch like 9 guys in there playing, jamming away, good stuff. But I like how it's put in our faces. I might never, if we didn't do these shows, I might never have thought of that. And that just creates more ways to see other things that I've been looking at. And I really love that. I appreciate all of what's going on here, everybody. A lot of fun.
So, guys, we're just gonna take a short break. All right.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Don't go away. We're gonna be right back in a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back, guys. We have Jeannie, Evelyn, and Kit with us on Zoroastrian Flat Earth Cosmology. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to the people in the chat. It's J Daddy, Namaste, and there is Queen M. Then there is Effie Nation, Evelyn Gold, Mike Zudnik, Gary Towner, Zoo Scott, Lady Jacqueline, Rene Calusia, Alan Nostrand, Dr. Frankenstein.
What's up, Dr. Frankenstein?
Hey, what's up? Joanna's Fig. Queen M. And Solo para Despiertos. Cover to cover, Jeremy Pierce. Angel of Elevation, Ice Wall, Flat Earth. And then there was Yannick Dasager. So welcome, guys, to the show. And yeah, in the break you saw that trailer of Flatten the Curve. Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention also, the Flatten the Curve clips are all over the TikTok. It's all over. So many different people are uploading the clips of Flatten the Curve. There are a couple of guys who have the whole documentary Flatten the Curve on TikTok in almost 50 episodes, like, cut down into 50 because in TikTok they don't allow long format videos, and some of those clips have more than 100,000 views. So freaking amazing TikTok.
Congratulations to Vikka and everybody, all the guys that participated and contributed in that amazing video from last year. Coming up on a year, brother. That was a breakthrough. I thought that closed up such an enormous gap that this community needed. It's absolutely wonderful. It really was. It still is.
Oh yeah, I can't believe that it's gonna be almost a year. So
Wow, right?
yeah, so we're gonna have a special show for that day or that week. It's exclusive to Flatten the Curve. So gonna be amazing.
Very cool.
So what was the real view, of the Zoroastrian view of the world, like regarding the picture of Zoroastrian world as presented in the Bundas Hin? It is like in the main. However, the absorbing interests they literally say that the Zoroastrian picture of the world conceived as a saucer shaped. How is a saucer? Can anybody explain how is a saucer?
A saucer, that's a plate.
Yeah, plate, a flat surface with upturned edge around the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a flying saucer, right?
Right, yeah, right. That crossed my mind too, with flying saucer. Funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a flying saucer would be if you put a saucer upside down, you have a flat part down, and you have a dome above.
Right. Funny. So, like you said, they're ripping everything off.
Oh yeah, because it goes very similar with the Islamic cosmology. Because according to the Islamic cosmology, it's supposed to be like a saucer, two saucers up and down. So it's like a whole UFO kind of thing, Looks like a whole UFO with the planes in the middle, and you have layers,
Right.
layers of planes of different worlds.
Yes, and the dome reached under to the next plane, and then dome over dome, and then all the way around.
Oh yeah, because the same way, because if there are scriptures speaking about water above, so there has to be water below too, right? So we need to cover ourselves from below too. So if we have a dome above, there have to be a dome, no? Because as we spoke about in some of our podcasts about a ball inside a ball, like a ball with like a gyroscope, or like what was that instrument we were speaking about, Jeannie? Remember a ball with a
there's
like a compass spinning,
right.
Yeah.
Like on the dashboard of your car, they got that spherical compass that sits in a clear plastic ball.
That's gyroscope.
Sort of, yeah, pretty much. I mean, but it's cool. It's got all directional. Not that it means anything because it only works as a compass, but it's just a variation of it. Maybe a little more free moving, being submerged in water like that. Friction free, kind of. Because if you had a regular compass on your dashboard, bumps might affect it. It's a very sensitive little piece of instrument there. But that wouldn't work on a ball, by the way, because if you're looking straight ahead is how a compass points, straight ahead of you, forward.
Yeah, I remember those exactly those little compasses.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a clear ball, and then they would have water in it, and
Right.
the little ball inside, the little compass inside, would just float in there, horizontally, always staying horizontally.
Yeah. And it might like sort of bounce around. Like you could turn the compass upside down if it's not attached to your dashboard, but it would always
Yeah.
still point like say like a gyroscope. It would always still point the same way.
Mm, yeah.
But you know, guys, think about it. A compass couldn't work on a ball because if you stand where you are, look north and point forward is not north. Down towards your feet would be north. To what angle depends on what latitude you're on, how far towards the equator you are. But wherever you are, north is not in front of you, it's down. Right?
You can make a compass. You can actually make a compass with a dish, and you put
Mhm.
water in it, and you put a sort of
Like a sewing needle.
needle, rub it.
Hmm.
It's magnetized or electric, with electric with friction, and then you place it in the water very carefully because otherwise it sinks. But you have to float it on the surface, and then it will actually turn to the north.
Well, it definitely works.
We used to do that in school. That's when,
Oh yeah, that's a basic
the common-
natural compass, right? You can even use a leaf, right?
That's when experiments were a common thing in school. Nowadays they don't. They only drop eggs in parachutes from the second floor.
We won
Yeah,
that
that-
once. we got the egg to land and not break.
I think before the compass was invented, definitely they could have started something with something like this, right? And then they evolved and they started using metal lodestone and putting it on a square, so the magnetic center was attracting the needle, and that's how they invented the compass, right?
That's right. They used that spoon-shaped little gadget.
Yeah, and that was nothing. The spoon was nothing. It was just a metal made spoon,
Well, right.
as which represent the swastika in the North Pole. They literally took it by seeing the swastika, and they just
Oh, that's cool. I never thought of that. Didn't know that. Oh, wow.
that's how they start to navigate and start exploring the worlds, because of the invention of all these devices, right?
Well, that, and they knew where the stars were going to be to a degree. They knew that when the daytime came, those stars were going to come back in a certain way. They knew that the positions weren't going to change. The whole thing might shift. The whole thing as a whole might shift a little. It does. It moves around, But they knew that. They understood. It's going to be here. It's going to be there. They knew the North Star doesn't move really. It makes a tiny circle, and that's about it. But you can't be locked to the North Star magnetically from all those ages away. That's
Dr. Frankenstein says, why not make 4 corners on a compass and point to the corners as poles? The first compass, which we are mentioning about, was a square. It was a square base with a spoon in the middle, and the spoon used to spin because of the magnetic energy of the north, and is to point to the north. Yeah, and the 4 corner thing, as we mentioned too, there are so many stupas and constructions which represents that 4-sided. As we have mentioned that in various of our podcasts, like it's supposed to represent the Mount Meru.
Vikka, is that square box in Mecca too? That big magnetic box, right? Isn't that what they represent? The Yagdril and the magnetic north. It's all kind of representative of the same stuff.
Which one? Sorry?
The Yagdril, the magnetic north. Is it all kind of representative of the same? and the black box in Mecca, and the graduation
black
cap.
the black box is a how do you say it represents Saturn, so it's actually a Saturn worship.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
So
thought
what it mentions, what is supposed to represent, according to the Islamic cosmology, is that is heavens are above Mecca. Okay, so that's their central north, according to them, because all the different realms are above the Mecca. That's why they go around. Uh, and speaking about different cosmologies and what zodiac or what planet they represent, actually the Saturn is represented by Judaism. The Christianity is associated with the sun, and the Islamic
Sun
cosmology
worship,
is
yes.
supposed to be represented with Venus. So yeah, it's a representation, according to them. It's their central column. That's why they move around that cube, right? And as we mentioned about the stupas, which represent the four square with a central point in the middle. In the Buddhist cosmology, we spoke about the stupas, right? And many of the flat earthers who promote the square earth, they think the earth is square, but it's only representing the Mount Meru. That's what it's representing. It's not saying that the earth is square.
Square
You can
Earth
also
made
see-
no
you can
sense
also
real
see-
quick.
Sorry. You can also think of the four corners as in the middle. Like you divide a circle with two lines, a horizontal and vertical, and the corners are in the middle. So it would actually make sense that it would represent Mount Meru in the middle.
Exactly. It's a point in the middle with a square with a circle outside. It's called the bindi.
That's why that's why you hear of flat earthers that their model is a square model, like the Mercator map, but it doesn't make any sense because, I mean, if you want to get from west US to east to China, I mean that it doesn't even make sense. So and they only think that the Earth is that shape because of the four corners, because it has to be square then. But it doesn't make any sense because you can't get anywhere. You can't jump from the one country to the other because they're on opposite sides of the square.
Yeah, go ahead, Ginny.
No, I was just gonna say that I didn't find Square Earth to make much sense pretty quickly. I looked into it. Looked into a bunch of them. Anyone I could find earlier in my stages here.
Yes, I came across a couple, and they all mentioned Enoch and the four corners of the world, and I'm like, what? I mean, physically that world does not make any sense.
Oh, we had here a couple of podcasts dedicated to that, and we had a few guests, and was crazy. Yeah,
it was interesting. Keith, you there for that, right?
Yeah, as long as it is flat, is no problem, but don't try to push it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I was on for those. I didn't let that go very far, in my opinion. It was a complete waste of time, and I honestly think that's part of the disinformation or misinformation that that controlled opposition uses against flat Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was adamant.
I was going to ask something about this religion. I did a little bit of reading before the podcast, and they said something about one of their it's not a temple. What's the word for their holy places? The places of worship. Like the Dome of the Rock would be, or one of their buildings where they do the worship for this religion. What's it called?
Oh, the exact word.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, bro.
Anyway, I'd love to see a picture of that because I wonder, they're like the Dome of the Rock, how that looks. There's
Right.
one of those same buildings in Chicago that looks exactly like the Dome of the Rock, and now it's a planetarium. But it's one of these old world buildings, like you were talking about, Vikka, that have the perfect symmetry, sacred geometry, cymatic patterns, all in these structures. And so whether it's this Zoroastrianism or any other religion, it seems like a lot of the old world buildings that we inherited, they either became political, government controlled buildings or some type of religious buildings. So I haven't seen the picture of the Zoroastrian temples yet, but I would love to see those if they're similar to the other mosques. That's the word I was looking for, mosque, like the Islamic mosques and how they look. There's some of those right here in America that we were told were built in the 1900s, but they look exactly like the Dome of the Rock. So I think a lot of those old buildings we inherited and we repurposed them, and whoever the controllers of this system are, they almost divvied those buildings out amongst government controllers and religious controllers in this matrix that we live in today.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some of them mosque dash temple looks very similar to something Greek. A little bit touches there, At the first glance, it looks like Greek, but these people are supposed to be older than Greeks, so.
Yeah, like the Greco-Roman architecture that's everywhere, from Asia to Australia to Africa to both Americas. Yeah, that Greek or Greco-Roman is everywhere, and we're supposed to believe that our great-great-grandfathers built them with their horses and their buggies and their hammers and their chisels.
There's so much to that stuff, Keith. Like, who fed those people? Where did they eat?
Yeah.
Like, where'd they live? What about the winters? A lot of people forget about the winters in some of the places that these things were built.
Where did they take a shit? I mean, there's no plumbing.
Yeah. No, exactly. All of that stuff, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it.
Yeah,
There's so many factors. And they'll just throw, Army Corps of Engineers ran over there from France. They helped them out. Don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah, we're
exactly
supposed to eat that. Yeah. No questions asked.
Yeah. The winters was a big deal to me because, like the Erie Canal. How long are the winters up there?
Right.
Seriously, it's 7 years.
Yeah.
360 miles, 7 years in New York winters in 1817.
Unbelievable.
Hello.
Yeah.
Come on. And they'll just throw the French guys came in and helped. That's the end of that. Or whoever it was, they said. I'm like, no, stop. The food, the guys, they didn't even have dynamite.
Right.
They only had black powder.
Yeah, black powder going through Solid Rock Mountains.
No. The engineers, bro, just to clear the land alone, right? All of this things, just in that one area.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But I know, and my cousin was telling me, he's like, they dug a ditch. What do you want? Why did it take them 7 years? I'm like, dude, talk about oversimplifying something.
Yeah, there's so much. We're supposed to just take it by blind faith. We're supposed to just believe what we're told. But the moment you start questioning whether it's the flat earth and the geography or the history or the archaeology, as soon as you start giving any independent thought to it and questioning, is that true? Pretty quickly you can see, that's probably not true at all.
I feel happy and content to be in this place where I am and we are right now, because I wouldn't want to. Look at your choices. You can believe that or not, or be skeptical even.
Yeah,
I would rather be the skeptic and say, well, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. that doesn't look likely. They couldn't do something like that in 50 years now. Don't tell me they did that 180 years ago in 7.
Yeah, exactly.
No, nah, I'm not just, and how many of those buildings?
They're everywhere. And how many of them were destroyed 100 years ago?
Yeah, right.
Civil wars and the world wars. I mean, have you seen pictures of Germany before the wars?
No, that's what that was for, to tear that place down.
Yep.
It makes me wonder if they hit like the more. There's got to be levels of function to the building, so I wonder if the more advanced ones were hit, just knocked out, and they left the less, the lesser ones alone. If we needed 10 buildings for 100 buildings to do something, they took out the 10 and left the other 90.
Yeah,
the same happened in Rotterdam. They just, it was flat. They just bombed it just right to the ground.
Yeah, not just there, everywhere. That happened everywhere.
Yeah.
Even our supposed civil war in America. I mean, the pictures of that with these people in soldier uniforms sitting next to these cannons with a pile of cannonballs that don't even fit inside the cannons. It's a real cool story. But they whoever they are, they went around and destroyed these amazing buildings, 150 to 200 years ago, that we wouldn't be able to use them today.
Oh yeah. What I wanted to also mention, what do the Zoroastrians think about life after death, right? And Zoroastrians, they believe that the material world is afflicted with the evil of death, decay, and disintegration due to the presence of Ahriman and his fiendish forces. Like, their presence in the world is as per covenant agreed upon by the god, who wanted them to remain confined to a particular region in the universe, so that they all could eventually be destroyed. So the world is marked by dichotomy between good and evil. God represents life and light, whereas Ahriman represents malice, death, and darkness.
I don't know if I see death as darkness personally.
Here, they're representing here. Like this, they also speak about that the God cannot go to the darkness and the darkness cannot go to the God, here, according to this cosmology. And what happens, after the disease had been fed to the vultures, the journey of the soul, according to the Zoroastrian beliefs, when a person dies, his or her spirit leaves the body but remains in its vicinity for 3 days and nights, suffering from temporary anxiety and distress caused by the sudden separation. During this period, the archangel Vohuman and Mitra prepare an account of the good works and the sins of the soul, to be used later to decide its fate in the spiritual world. On the third night, the soul leaves the material world and enters into a spiritual world, led by an angel called Diana, who symbolically represents consciousness. There it stands before the Chinvad. Chinvad is supposed to be a bridge, kind of a bridge of judgment, where the deeds of the souls are reviewed. Good souls are led to the paradise, and evil souls are led to the world of punishment. Like always, the journey of the souls who are destined to go to the heaven is made pleasant by the angels, whereas the sinners goes through an agonizing experience as they are forcibly pushed towards the hell. The souls will remain in their respective abodes until the end of the current cycle of time. At the end of it, there will be a judgment day, when God will receive all the dead souls and review their actions once again. Those who were on the side of the gods, good and God, will be awarded with an eternal heavenly life, while the rest will be consigned to the world of torment permanently. Sounds very familiar.
Yes. It makes me think of the when somebody dies, you have a mourning period of a few days.
Right.
And
Not the same thing.
That's the same thing. It's to make sure, and you, well, and you're there, and you pray for the soul. And what you're actually doing is encouraging the soul to go to wherever it's supposed to go, and not just stay back, to hang about on the earth, to stay stuck here.
That's great. I was thinking the same thing. Like the funeral is like 3 days to that, 2-3 days usually.
Yeah.
Typically. Here, at least around here, there is often.
So that there must be a sliver of truth there when when it's
Yeah,
the normal thing that
I think it could be possible. I don't know if it's 100%. I think it depends on the situation and the person who died, actually. Maybe.
Yeah, the important information here is that if it sounds so similar to the Abrahamic religion, so why the world have to be different? Any different, right?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the separation of church and state got involved and put all kinds of twists in everything, I bet you. And the separation of church and state is really non-existent, guys. I'm only kidding. Because they're really the same thing.
Oh, man, I thought you were serious.
No. No, you didn't.
Oh, dude. Human ego gets involved and has to be right. And I'm right and you're wrong. And I'm going to heaven if you believe like me. You're going to hell if you don't believe like me. I mean, all that stuff in religion is, and it's like politics here in America, the left wing and the right wing, the Trump supporters still waiting and trusting the plan versus the Biden idiots who can't see that he's about, I don't know, he's as delusional as he gets, and they can't tell it's all a puppet show. They honestly can't see that it's someone is pulling the strings, someone is telling Trump what to say, someone's telling Biden exactly what to say, and they're just being controlled and manipulated to waste their life's energy getting mad and irate because Trump's evil and now Biden's doing illegal stuff now, and it's
he's not.
To keep you to keep people distracted from the beauty of this creation,
Right.
the beauty of spirit, the beauty of just enjoying a peaceful life and just enjoying the beautiful things like the sun and the moon and the stars moving over our heads. I mean, there's so many people caught up in religious debates, in political debates, instead of learning to just enjoy their life. And I think that's ultimately, the purpose of it is to enjoy it, to learn from it, to learn and grow. That's a big purpose. And the another purpose is just learn to enjoy it, live it peacefully.
And especially enjoy the difference, because that's the thing. Enjoy the variety. Enjoy the different flavors, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely, just accept people for who they are, and let people believe what they want to believe. To get so irate because you don't believe in Jesus like I do, or you don't believe in Allah like I do. There's something about tolerance that's a little higher frequency, maybe a little higher vibration. I mean, I know you can't live you can't live peaceably with somebody that might want to kill you, but I mean, in rare occasions, you might have to defend life by taking life. But ultimately, respect people, love them and just let them be who they're going to be and live how they're going to live. But this thing about whether it's this religion we're talking about tonight or any other one, it's about you trusting what someone else says about God and the universe and creator, instead of learning to experience things personally yourself. And I'm far from perfect, but I do trust my own experiences, whether they're spiritual experiences or physical experiences. I would trust that more than I trust someone else telling me this is who God is or this is the way you need to live. I just don't listen to those voices outside near as much as I listen to the voice inside. That's just me.
Yeah, and our point here is to see the similarities and show that it's all the same. So as I mentioned before, we see so much similarities with the Abrahamic religion, with the Zoroastrian religion. There is a connection. And the other connection would be also, like, for example, the Asuras and the Daivas as the Indo-Iranian connection. Okay? The other part of the world. What is it? The ancient Indians and the ancient Iranis / Persians had many things in common. They worshipped many identical gods, spoke languages of common origin, performed rituals that had many things in common, both in the method and manner in which they were performed, and for the purpose for which they were performed. Their religious belief and practice drew inspiration from similar sources. The ancient Iranian spoke Avestan, which was a sister language of Sanskrit spoken by the Vedic Indians. Both groups worshipped several gods and performed rituals, at the end of which they feasted and drank an intoxicating drink called soma in India or haoma in Iran. All ancient tribes or civilization had some kind of an intoxication substance to connect with the divine being. And soma or haoma is the word soma comes from the word somras, which means in Vedic, it means the drink of immortality, which we can compare with DMT, ayahuasca, mushroom, whatever psychogenics there exist. There are many psychogenics that exist in the world, and every culture have its own way, right? So here they had soma and haoma. Some people think this saoma was this red mushroom with the red dots. For Amanita muscaria. Yeah.
That's where the Christmas tree, the red balls coming from the Christmas tree comes from. Because they hang
exactly.
That's why the caterpillar sits in Wonderland.
All right, that's interesting. When you said an intoxicating drink, I had a feeling you weren't talking about like ancient beer.
Oh yeah, and it's been known that in the ancient India and in Iran or Persia, they had these kind of ceremonies there where they used to drink this magical drink and connect. And
why do you think why do you think all this stuff is forbidden? And it's just starting to break the ice now. You know how many people say that mushrooms takes away anxiety and all kinds of ailments that, like mental ailments, people deal with within themselves?
Oh, it's supposed to put you to default, brother. Especially the mushroom, it's supposed to put a human brain to a default setting, because we've been so much contaminated by everything. We need an antidote. I am not promoting. I'm just I'm just defining what it is. In truth, what is that substance, right? Which is very similar to DMT. Psilocybin is very similar to DMT. It's known to for PTSD, for depression, for any kind of psychological problem, physical.
Yes,
But we know it's all are illegal, right? The reason they are illegal is because of that, right? Yeah.
That's why they don't take bad things away. They give us bad things. They take the good things away, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing some what they call microdosing.
Doses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in Holland is big trend, right? For microdosing, right?
Yeah, and it's it's not like walking around tripping all day either, guys. It's not like that.
They seem to be more open about it.
It's like a matrix blocker.
When these teachers are real McCoy, okay, all these teachers, be it psilocybin, DMT, ayahuasca, or whatever other substance there exists, it's all supposed to be real McCoy. And the real McCoy is supposed to take in a ceremonial way, in a ritual way. You cannot take it as an entertainment in a club or whatever. You're never going to get that healing or that
the connection is not going to be there.
Yeah,
like that,
or the information or the wisdom, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You won't get it because it's not in the right setting. That's why these ancient people, all the ancient cultures had that ritual, be it annually or 2 times a year, is to connect, and real connections, especially if you see, for example, the native people, the Native American, all over from North Canada to all the way to South, all the real indigenous people, they all were really connected with the nature and everything, right? And healing and getting the information for their time to live harmony in their surrounding, right? And same could be said in the middle world or in the eastern part of the world. Or the Zoroastrian, they were literally really, really ahead in their way of using this technology, using this substance as a technology, literally to receive, to connect, to get on the frequency, to catch the vibration, to see the sounds, to see the information, because everything that sacred geometry is encoded as an information where everybody can perceive if they want to, if they give time to it. And you can see the whole fabric of this existence, the whole net. Why you think in the Egyptian hieroglyphics they're showing a lot of nets? They're not showing there to catch the fish. They're showing the netters. It's called the netters. The netters are the people who see the fabric of the creation. Once you see that, everything just happens, right? So how can these people connect with that net and see the real existence, the real, we could say, the simulation in a way, right? It's because through these rituals. So the people have taken it out of the context and use it as recreational. It's not going to help.
Yeah,
it can help you a bit here and there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Vikka. The ritual and the preparation before the ritual is very important also.
Exactly. And what we need to catch from the net is not the fishes, it's the information, it's the wisdom.
I wonder if the internet has anything to do with that.
Net, yes, it's the net, right?
Could be. But Vikka, you know plants more than anybody around, brother. And for every ailment there's a plant that has the cure. That's what the plants are here for.
Not only everything that exists, everything that is gonna exist in the future also have the cure.
That's cool. That's
the nature as we said, it's not only feed us, it heals us, it shelter us, right?
It does, provides everything. All our tools come from nature. Our shelters, right? Yeah, food.
So that's why the mother nature is very intelligent. It's not gonna let this us destroy, because it's a lot of things from the past and the present and the future, because everything is existing in the same moment, you know.
That's pretty crazy. You know, for a long time I've been saying I think they have the cure first, and then they create the sickness for whatever they can cure. And then because they wouldn't let these diseases out if they couldn't cure somebody on their side for it, right? So they create the cure, then they find the sickness to go with it, and then they let the sickness out for us. And then they sell it. They sell us the sickness, they sell us the fake cures. And
Brother, the human mind is so powerful. We don't need any magical medicine. Even a water with the right intents of yourself, speaking to the water and drinking that water, is powerful enough.
I believe that 100%.
Okay, because it's us who we heal ourselves. That's why in the medical industry, the sign with the staff with the two snakes,
The caduceus.
the caduceus.
Mm-hmm.
These people are putting that sign in front of the hospitals because they are doing the right deed by saying you can heal yourself. Before you come in here, look at that sign. We are doing our karma right by telling you, but you are blind enough for not to see that.
That's like so unfair for humanity. It really is. It's like springing a pop.
Yeah, but the people who don't want to see, the people want to see as a demonic. That sign is demonic. That kundalini is demonic. Those chakras is demonic. But the same signs also exist in the Kabbalah. Those same points.
Yeah,
but it's called in another way.
Those
and the Kabbalah, it's from the Abrahamic religion. So what's demonic about that? Just because it's been said about chakra? No. So those, go ahead.
Those same people calling that demonic are probably the same people running to the hospitals.
Exactly, because they are not seeing the symbolism right there. That's why it represents, those chakra represent those 7 points. The chakra represents the kundalini that needs to go above. It's what is bringing the Christ, or it's represents in the form of liquid that is it's rising from our base chakras to our pineal gland. It's just a representation. 33. No, Jesus died on 33, right?
Right. That's how many vertebrae.
Because the 33 spines is the 33 spines.
33-degree Freemason is the highest level. That's where water flows back to from freezing to flowing water is at 32 degrees, 33 degrees. There's a lot of significance behind this stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
That sacred oil, bro. That's what comes out of your claustrum in your brain.
Exactly. In your solar plexus, it stays there for 2.5 days, and that's the resurrection, right?
And then it comes back up vibrating differently.
Exactly. And once it's take that light and energy, because sorry, for 2.5 days, that liquid is supposed to be in our solar plexus, and every time the moon has 28-day cycles, so there are 2.5 days where the moon is supposed to be in your astrological sign. Your astrological sign is the sun sign you were born in. For that 2.5 days, going to charge that oil in the solar plexus, and that's when it resurrects and goes into the pineal gland, where it sees the light and becomes the light.
Right.
Or the Christ consciousness. It gets the Christ consciousness. It's just a representation, right, of the same thing.
And that's where the cosmology becomes so important, and that's why these ancient cultures knew exactly what they were talking about and why they all talk about the same thing in the sky. Because it's very important to know where things are when you're born, when you're doing something, when you want to do something.
Exactly, and we just it's the perfect example of us as a human being with all the energy points and how things are needs to be done inside the body in relation with the environment and the celestial bodies, right?
Sure.
So we
Huh?
can call it Christ conscious, we can call it Krishna conscious, we can call it Buddha conscious, we can call it Zoroastrian, the Mazda conscious, whatever. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The seed of Christ, the seed of Krishna. When one illuminates, is that it's got that seed of Krishna, it's got the seed of Christ or the seed of the Buddha. And it's all about that, because once you understand and when you do that, it's what's the real purpose in our this three-dimensional plane, in this materialistic, in this matter life that we have here. And it's all, we won't even go into the Trinity and the matter and the Father and the kids and all the,
Vic, it makes me think that, since life is so diverse, maybe that's why there's so many diverse stories about it, so it could be more acceptable.
exactly.
Like right, in a metaphoric way. The metaphors are great. You can get a point across to thousands of people real quick without going through the whole story. And they'll get the point, really.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. And, and again, it brings up the timeline for me. Like, I just wonder how off the timelines are. That 1,000 years, I think about that like almost every day, somewhere during the day. Like, what they do, where is it? I run into that story or something that reminds me of that 1,000 years. I have a document, a bottle with a strange looking one on it, two strange looking ones on a banknote. The denomination and the year look totally different from each other. 1865. It's like a check for $165 to 1865. So I don't know. It's just oddities that might never be answered for sure, but they're there.
Oh, yeah. Like the Iranians, they recited verses to invoke ancient gods, just as the Indian performs rituals to invoke deities of the heavenly regions. Some of the deities they worshipped had similar names, such as Aryaman, Atharwan. There are many different names that they sound almost similar and very similar meaning too. Both groups believed in the existence of three-tier cosmos, consisting of an upper heaven region, a middle atmospheric region, and the Earth.
Wow. Nothing under it, right?
Right.
Interesting.
And
What describes the Earth, though?
exactly, it's just setting the three different realms.
Yeah. And they're really kind of the ones we're working in, too.
Right. At some stage in their development, both groups parted their way and developed differences. Some of the differences may be attributed to the geography and some to the new political and social development that took place in their respective regions.
Right away. Politics.
Yeah. While the
my
Vedic
politics.
Indians, yeah, while the Vedic Indians interacted with the pre-Vedic traditions of India dating back to the Indus period and even earlier, the ancient Iranian regions, which were rooted in the Vedic beliefs, faced opposition from Zoroastrian, which was gradually emerging in the region as the most organized and appealing religion of the ancient Iran. There is no place in its teachings for all practice of sacrificial ritual involving animals and human sacrifices, which were deemed agonizing and cruel and antithetical to the revelations received by him. He brought into focus a dynamic universal God as a protector of the righteous and opposed to evil, in place of an enigmatic and passive God who remained in the background, while the divinities battled with the various dark forces and claimed divine authority to themselves. Where it sounds similar also with Anunnaki and all these people. So, yep. Not very much difference to other cosmologies. Quite interesting, yep. All right, guys. So we are almost 2 hours here, and maybe we're gonna have our last thoughts for tonight. And we're gonna be wrapping up. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll say this is very interesting, Vika. It was hard to dig up too. I guess the further back it goes, the harder it's going to be. And like we said, this particular religion, cosmology, is I don't know how to call it, but it seems like it's going to have a hard time surviving actively with how they seem to grow, because you can only be born into it, really, or very specifically married into it. That doesn't seem highly likely, but no, it's very interesting, and the similarities are always there. There are always the little differences. The names are great. The names are just awesome, and the similarities are just 9 out of 10 throughout. 8 out of 10 of just they can be interchanged. It's really awesome.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a great show, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. And I'll always be looking forward. So thanks, everybody. Hope you have fun. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Oh yeah, Jeannie. It could be that the reason that why there's not so much information about their cosmology, especially about the geography and how the world was created, as physical as we have with the rest of the cosmologies, because could be that, because as I mentioned earlier, that it was word to word,
Right.
sharing. So maybe it had so much of information that they just didn't pass it, or they didn't even, or there wasn't any, than whatever it was, more than it was a saucer shaped, right? And the 3 planes. So, yep. Thank you,
Very
brother.
interesting. Thank you. You put a great show tonight. Great presentation. Very cool. Thank you.
Oh yeah, brother. Definitely. Thanks.
I'll go next. I just say thanks for having me on again, Vika. I was glad I was able to get on and join with you again. I've actually missed being on the podcast the last few weeks as we were doing all the holidays and family events. But you know, what's become evident to me the last 2 or 3 years is what you mentioned, Vika, and that is the similarities, the very strong similarities from cosmology to cosmology, from religion to religion. I mean, I'll stop short of saying they're all the same. I mean, they're all very, very similar for sure. And ultimately, I don't know. Like Jeannie, like you said, ultimately we don't know. I mean, nobody does. But if we can learn to live with some love and compassion and peace with ourselves, our family, and each other, I think that's what it's about. And for me, and for a lot of people I talk to about flat Earth who have now come to the knowledge that the Earth is flat and stationary, they say that this knowledge has helped them achieve just that. That they have more peace of mind and a greater sense of freedom and a closer connection to whoever our creator is. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. That's one of the reasons why I communicate flat Earth almost on a daily basis. Almost every day I'm having a conversation with somebody. I've had 3 different conversations about flat Earth today with different people, and I'll continue to, because I think the fruit of that is good. The fruit of that is peaceful and a greater sense of freedom and a closer connection to spirit, whatever that mystery might be. So I'm here for the long haul, and I enjoy being with you guys. Thank you, Vika.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother. And yeah, it's important what you are doing or what every flat earther is doing is important to speak to people because that sound, that vibration needs to be heard. Even if they ignore it, it needs to go into in the subconsciousness because it's a part because it's like a kindle of fire we give to somebody and it just expands and multiplies. It's one of our main reason also we are here is to share and spread that light of truth, right? So awesome, brother. Thanks for being here. Evelyn.
Yeah, yeah. Again, the similarities that they're all very clear, down to the description of the egg-like creation, and in these different cultures, there's always a good and an evil side, a darkness, a light. There's always some confrontation where in the middle of that confrontation there's the actual creation being formed. The only difference that I've seen are um, the 6-day creation stated in the Bible. You know, it's very clear, a 6-day step by step creation of the firmament, the stars, the earth, the animals, and all that. Whereas in the other creations, it usually takes longer. For example, in this one, it lasted about 3,000 years with everything just standing still, and then everything getting started. So yeah, that's that's quite the intake that I get from these different cultures.
Oh yeah, definitely, Evelyn. Thanks for being here, Evelyn. And yeah, it's a chess game that is going on. We all are part of that game, and somebody's playing that game, right? Of that black or white chess, right? So part of the Maya, it's part of the net. It's part that needs to manifest, right? So thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, even we had a quite a long break and everyone is here. Thank you so much everybody in the chat for being here. And thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Yes, and make sure you guys check us out on the next week episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv, guys. Bye. See you soon.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Astronauts to the moon.
Houston, we have a problem.